I wasn't sure if I was gonna play Gridmaster. I knew of its existence, but I didn't actually know a lot of what it was about or whatever, so I was just like, okay, let's give it a shot, see what it's all about, and, you know, see what we can get ourselves into. And honestly, it's actually really fun. I really was not expecting these to come out. So if you didn't know, usually there's a leaks at this time of the year, and there is one currently for RuneScape 3, which, you know, them overlapping temporary events is always good. You go, Jagex, good job. But regardless of that, we don't have leaks this year for old school RuneScape. Instead, we have Gridmaster, and Gridmaster, instead of lasting 2 months, is only gonna last 4 weeks technically, not an entire month. And essentially this is kinda like leagues, but instead of having relics and tasks, you actually have sort of like a bingo style grid, where you just have a task on that grid and on that tile, and that tile gives you a reward, and then if you manage to get a column or a line, you get an extra reward on top of it all. So it's sort of like a bingo, but it's more about completing as many tiles as you can, as opposed to like specifically trying to go for a row or something like that, right? And as I mentioned, I really was not expecting this. I was not expecting of how fun it was and everything. And one of the things that I've been wondering for a while is, what if a league just had everything unlocked? Because up until this point you only had one league in old school that had everything unlocked, which was Leagues 3, but you had to like slowly unlock a lot of the things in the game, so it wasn't exactly the same thing. Here you just have the entire game unlocked, and then you have a lot of especially the league's relics and everything on top of it, which is the first thing. Let's be honest with ourselves, a lot of the stuff here is stuff that is repeated from other leagues and are ideas that we have seen before, right? I'm not complaining, because again, like Dodgy Deals for example is really fun, Golden God is really fun and everything, but you know, I understand obviously, you know, they're very busy with the sailing release and everything. They've just released Valarmore Part 3 like a month ago or something, or a month and a half ago, so you know, team has been very busy. I understand, you know, we don't have super fancy thing. I'm just glad that at least we have something, and I have been having a lot of fun with it. One of the best parts about it is that contrary to leagues, it's not super overwhelming, so like you don't have like a bunch of tasks that you need to do. You just have I didn't even count them. You have a 7x7 grid, I think it's a 7x7 grid, right? So realistically you have less than 50 tasks to complete, if my maths are correct. I think it's 49 if I'm not mistaken. I hopefully mathed that one out. But yes, and a lot of the tasks are just kind of fun, and they're not very hard or anything like that, and they just give super overpowered rewards. One of the most interesting things is that there's multiple ways of approaching, sure, but most of the times it does seem that this is more like a puzzle. Like for example, okay, I'm gonna get this reward to get that reward to then do that, as opposed of leagues where it's more like, well, I want to go this route because I want to play leagues this way specifically, right? It's more on the side of kind of just figuring out stuff to, you know, make it not necessarily efficient, but just stuff that combos with each other, you know. So like for example, you know, you can start with, I didn't start because I didn't realize those were one of the rewards, because again, I didn't pay attention, so I didn't know. But for example, one of the things that you could do is you could start with the Woodcutting Relic or the Mining Relic, and then do the relevant tests. So for example, let's say you start with the Mining Relic, right? You get 40 mining, super easy with the relic, and then you choose the Woodcutting Relic to do the Maple Log task, and then you choose the Animal Wrangler Relic. So you have all the 3 relics, and you know, they're all super easy to do. I started by the hardest part for some odd reason, but yeah, because I took Animal Wrangler at the beginning. But you know what I mean, it's more like a puzzle of trying to figure out, okay, I want to do this, and then into that, as opposed of just, okay, I want to do this bunch of tasks, and I think this relic is better for my gameplay. You know, like here you just kind of have all of the relics, all of the rewards, and again, despite a lot of them being what, you know, we already know from leagues, including combat-wise, ultimately, I mean, they do its job in the sense of like, yeah, they're all really fun. And the best part is, they all seem very accessible. I was looking through a lot of the tasks, and honestly, the only task that I'm sitting here where I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I will ever be able to do that, is beating Inferno under 30 minutes. Like, there's one of the tasks there, because that is like the only one that I'm like, even with all of the buffs to PVM and everything, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. Like, that seems super excessive, you know, especially because I haven't really done Inferno on main. So, you know, I'm sitting here like, you know, maybe not, we'll see, because everything else just seems pretty doable. You know, it's getting purples from raids, you know, which if you already know how to do the raids pretty easily with the PVM buffs, and even if you don't, I think it's pretty easy to learn as well, or getting XP, or doing just random tasks like killing Zolro with a blowpipe, killing Calphite Queen, right, you know, completing level 5 of Allowed Sepulchre, you know, stuff like that. It's stuff that is super accessible in my opinion, stuff that doesn't like take a lot of effort or anything like that. You know, obviously if you're, I guess, newer to the game or you haven't done a lot of these things in the main game, they might be harder, but again, I think that they are doable, especially with the PVM buffs that you get. They're very doable, and you do have some like very OP rewards. I was just seeing, and you have a reward that is apparently like a shark that heals you for 20 hit points, but doesn't get consumed when you eat it. So I think it's just like infinite source of food as a shark. So, you know, that can come in handy to like, you know, ease a lot of the mistakes that you might do during PVM and everything, you know. And again, like, for you to get it, I think it's just, you need to like cook a shark wearing a chef's hat, which is just, you know, super easy, especially if you have the Animal Wrangler relic, which, you know, you should have because it's pretty easy to get to it, right? So I really do enjoy that a lot of the relics are indeed very overpowered, but that the tasks are very accessible. The tasks, because of how OP the relics are, could be super hard, but they all seem pretty accessible, honestly, and I do enjoy that. So I can see myself playing these for quite a while. I don't think I'm gonna necessarily make any progress videos on it, and that's because, contrary to leagues, while these last 4 weeks, I don't think you need 4 weeks here. As in, like, I think that, you know, you can very easily complete this within the 4 weeks. You can very easily complete all of the tasks, and if not all of the tasks, the vast majority of them. As I mentioned, they're super accessible, and there's a sort of end game to all of this. Contrary to leagues where it's like, even after you get your 7, there's still a lot to do, especially for the trophy, especially like the Dragon Trophy, and you can even go even further to try and get even more points by completing extra tasks and everything for the rewards. Here, as soon as you complete everything is done, because unless like there's an even grid that you are then able to complete after, that is given to you after you complete this one, which I don't think there is, pretty much it's done. So I think that's actually like a very doable thing to, like, I guess, complete the game mode. So in that sense, it is a temporary game mode, but a one that clearly has like an end game in mind, clearly has like a finale in mind, you know, whereas Leagues is more like, yeah, you do have this time to do as many tasks as you want. Most people don't do all of the tasks they can do, obviously, and then the game mode ends. Here it seems more like, yeah, here's a fun game mode, complete it before it's gone, rather than, you know, just keep playing it until the end date, I guess. So, all in all, as far as first impressions go, I have had a blast with it. I think it's incredibly fun, and if you haven't, or you're in the fence about trying it out, I definitely recommend trying it out. Contrary to Leagues, the early game isn't that slow. You can get, like, ramp up super fast, and it's just great to also like test your knowledge of the early game and everything, and it's just honestly very fun. It's also contrary to Leagues where, you know, again, it takes a while to get to like tier 7 or whatever. Here you can get super OP stuff by like what, day 2, day 3, even day 1 if you really know Life It. So it's one of those things where, contrary to Leagues, you really don't need as much investment to see if you like it, to try out the OP stuff and everything. You can very easily try out some of the OP stuff very early on. I have been playing for what, 3 hours now, which is, you know, it's not that much, and I've already completed pretty much almost 2 entire rows, and I'm like, what, 2 easy tasks away, or like green tasks away from completing all of the green tasks. So, and that's just, I've been playing for like 3 hours, and I'm not even like that efficient at the game, because I've realized that I didn't pick up Golden God, which was actually super easy to pick up, so I manually got to 55 magic to actually do IALC, and I went to Revenant to actually get an item that I could IALC for more than 30 KGP to complete that task. So yeah, I kinda did waste like an hour, half an hour to an hour doing that. So, you know, it could have been even better, I could have been even faster, so definitely highly recommend people try out this game mode. It's super fun, and you're really not gonna lose that much time playing it, because again, I don't think that a lot of these tasks will take ages to complete by any means. So yes, Gridmaster, very good on my books. Definitely, especially considering that we're working here on limited resources and it's not a full league. Personally, I gotta say, complete win. I want to talk about something that I also found really fun, in my opinion. So there's sort of these, I guess, contracts, or not contracts, like they're like sort of binding contracts, which is basically you get to choose like 3 or 4 skills and bind them all together, meaning if you ever do a task from a specific skill, the other skills that are bound get half of the XP. So for example, I got the combatant binding thing. So I chose magic, strength and prayer. So every time I get, say that I get 100 magic XP, I get 50 prayer XP and 50 strength XP for every single time that I get 100 magic XP, right? Then vice versa. So in a way, it's actually like really easy for you to train your combat stats and for you to train everything. So yeah, honestly, it's a super fun idea, and an idea that honestly I enjoyed quite a lot. So yeah, again, like Gridmaster, 100% recommend. I think it's been really fun, and if you haven't tried it, just give it a try, right? 1 hour, give it a try, and if you especially are a fan of limited game modes, I think this is a must limited game mode to actually play.